think one of the really important things that we talk about in terms of goals is the idea that moving to live in a different country is not about starting in place A, Amsterdam, and moving yourself to another place. It's not about the places that you're going to. What moving really is about moving from life A, and recreating another life, life B. So when we talk about goals, when each of us has moved, I mean, everybody in this room has so much experience already about moving to live in a different place. You're recreating a life, and your goal when you get to the next place is to have a happy life, a good life, a successful life, however you define that. Now, everybody in this room, I think, is a serial mover. So people don't move just once. People move once and then they move again. We're not immigrants to somewhere else. And then we come back and we live back in life A. And that has to become, again, a really good life. How do you fit all of those multiple projects together and make them make sense? Well, in a sense, when we move with our spouses, with our partners, the politically correct word, I think. When we move with our partners' lives, the move for our partners is two different things. One, it's their new job. It's what they're going to be learning, the skills they're going to be applying, the step that they're taking in a new position with new colleagues, new skills, everything that they're going to be recreating in a new job. And it is also a stepping stone within their whole career path. So it's not just that they're moving to this new place. So for so many of us women, we often move to the next place. We take our lives and we're the ones who, I actually heard this discussion early on this evening, we're the ones who end up with all of the logistics. We're the ones who end up with the lists and the paperwork and all of the details and figuring out how it's going to be and how it was and how you're going to fit all of this together and what that life, how you're going to recreate that life. And what often happens is that you get there and after a year, everybody's settled, everybody else's life is fine, and you look around and you think, now what? What about me? So when we go, before we go, in our book, Anne and I spend 5 chapters and we haven't even left the country of origin. And the reason for that is because making the decision and preparing, all of the time that Shackleton spent preparing for his life, is what makes it possible to actually recreate that, or to create a new life that you are happy and comfortable with in that new place. So in the first instance, the move is more than a physical move. It's more than just a logistics from one place to another. It is a new job. It is a new life. And in the second instance, it's not just one step in sort of the next thing that's going to happen to you. It is the next step in your life plan. So how is this next place going to contribute to your life goals? Where is it that you want to see yourself in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What is it that you want to have had accomplished in that many years? And where does your where does this next posting, where does this next place in your life fit into that process? So in Nigeria, I was speaking to a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago who said, you know, when I retire or in my future life, I want to have an asile. How do you say that in English? An animal shelter. That was it. And I said, oh, wow, that's really interesting because here in Nigeria, you know, conditions for animals are pretty terrible. People have dogs, there's street dogs, and you could be doing tons of stuff, and you could also be, you know, taking courses, or there's courses online that you could be doing and everything. And she said, well, yeah, I could be doing all of those things, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait because, yeah, I know, I've got this reason and that reason and this reason and that reason. I think that in a sense, had she prepared herself in advance with a long-term goal, there's no reason why you can't accomplish anything in Nigeria. It's a difficult posting, but everything's possible. And today, with the possibilities that we have on the cloud, on the internet, we can prepare ourselves for that next step. And we can prepare that next step, or allow that next step to be something that's much bigger on our plan. So, I just wanted to say, very briefly, that beyond the skills, I think before you even start to, deal with this list, especially for women, what is it that we want out of this next posting? You're not moving, your whole family is moving, you have a joint project together, but each individual within the group must have their own goals and their own things that they want to take away from that phase in their lives.